Let's pretend that you're currently employed at a local grocery store. You've gotten to know one of the other cashiers pretty well, and you've heard her heart-wrenching stories about how she has to scrounge up money to feed her children. She's recently become the closing manager, and you've learned that as she locks up at night, she's stealing food to take home to her children. Do you tell the store administration, or do you keep it quiet because you understand her responsibility to feed her little ones? This is the kind of story that Lawrence Kohlberg would use to study moral development. I've always been intrigued by how people decipher right from wrong, and as I further studied this topic, I realized this was Lawrence Kohlberg's passion as well. Now, Kohlberg was a professor at Harvard University, and he did a lot of his studies through Harvard-centered moral education. He would present moral dilemmas to people and ask them to reason through them audibly. Now, his dilemmas often forced people to choose between obedience and the welfare of others. Dr. Borey states that he wasn't concerned with the solutions of these dilemmas, but how people logically reasoned through those solutions. In Dr. Borey's studies of Kohlberg's evaluations, he points out that there's a progression from each stage. Kohlberg classified moral development in 3 levels with 6 stages within them. There's a way to identify what stage someone is in by how they justify their actions. I'm going to walk you through the 3 levels of moral development and the 6 separate stages within them. The first level is pre-conventional morality. In this level, you'll find most young children. It involves 2 stages. The first stage, reward and punishment, is strictly based on consequences. At this point, children aren't really concerned with others' actions or how their actions will have repercussions on others. They aren't really even concerned with if their actions are right or wrong. They strictly want to avoid consequences. An example of this would be a child's obedience to the all well-known phrase, "because I said so." The child doesn't care if their actions are ethical, they just want to avoid getting into trouble. The second stage is the exchange stage. They're looking out for their own best interests. At this point, they are aware that other people are also trying to make decisions that would benefit themselves. So they try and make it a deal, or an exchange, hence the title. In this stage, you may find a brother and sister fighting on a school bus, and when they get home, they'll make a deal along the lines of, "I won't tell on you if you don't tell on me." The second level is conventional morality. In this stage, most middle-aged elementary kids enter, and surprisingly, most adults stay within throughout their entire lifespan. The 2 stages in this are the good boy, good girl stage and the law and order stage. The third stage, good boy, good girl. Here we're aware of others' perceptions of us. In this stage, we want to show our peers respect and we want to earn our peers' respect. But this is only extended to the people we interact with on a regular basis. An example of this would be shunning a person to prove loyalty to our group of friends. Our 4th stage would be the law and order stage. Here we develop a deep respect for authority. But this now is not just inside of our own bubble, but as society of a whole. So we're going to strictly abide by any laws that society sets. An example of this would be thinking that we can drive faster than a regulated speed limit, but we're going to go ahead and stay within that speed limit because we believe that those setting the laws know better than we do. Our 3rd level of moral development is post-conventional morality. Now, most adults will never develop to this level. At this point, people are no longer concerned with authority, but concerned with reason. The 5th stage, social contract stage, is concerned with benefiting the majority of people. Their motivation for making decisions is earning the respect of the majority. An example of this would be a lawmaker justifying passing a law that may be harmful to a few because it's going to benefit most of society. The last and final stage, the 6th stage, universal principles, is no longer concerned with earning respect, following authority, or the social laws. They're concerned with sticking to ideals such as equality. Kohlberg points out that they feel the need to live up to expectations of values that they hold to be true. A great example of this would be Rosa Parks, an African-American woman who decided to sit in the white section. At this time, whites were the majority. And so even though she was breaking the law and going against the majority, she was holding true to a principle that she found vastly important and would benefit everyone: equality for all races. As we go through these, you can probably see a natural progression from stage to stage. And you can see how you could identify which stage someone is in by how they justify their actions. In the first level, people would justify their actions with positive and negative consequences. Am I going to get in trouble for this? In the second level, they begin to justify their actions by how they follow the rules, either the rules set by their peer group or the rules set by society. And in the third level, people justify their actions by how many people did they benefit. Even though most people never progress past conventional morality, every stage is attainable. Richard Hayes cites Kohlberg as saying mature thought develops from an active change in pattern of thinking, brought about by experimental problem-solving situations that arise from interactions between the organism and the environment. One could help someone progress in moral development by giving them a dilemma to think through that causes them to think just one stage above where they're currently located.